In Brazil was announced the winner of the tender for launching a rail link between Sao Paulo and Campinas. The winner is a collaborative proposal by the Brazilian company Comporte Participações in partnership with the Chinese concern CRRC, which was the only bidder. Now these companies have to provide high-speed rail service between Sao Paulo and Campinas. The total length of the line is 101 km and it is currently used only by freight trains. The project will be implemented as a concession for 30 years, and during this time the companies involved will be responsible for the service and receive profits from the ticket sales. On top of that, it is also planned to build a railway station in Campinas. The total cost of the project is estimated at almost $3 billion, with the state government paying $1.82 billion. It is expected that the trains will cover the distance in 64 minutes with a maximum speed of 140 km per hour and capacity of 860 passengers. Important thing is that passenger trains are to have separate tracks built, so slow freight trains will not interfere with them. The operation is scheduled to start in 2031. The Brazilian federal government has announced an investment of nearly $2 billion to modernize public transport across the country. The program covers the purchase of more than 5,000 new transport units, such as battery buses, diesel buses of Euro 6 standard, and trains. The main goals of the program are to reduce emissions and improve air quality in cities, reduce fossil fuel consumption, and stimulate national production. So all of these vehicles should be ordered from local manufacturers, which will also be beneficial for the Brazilian economy. And in addition to the electric buses themselves, the program will also include installation of charging infrastructure and staff training. While the municipal trolleybus system in Sao Paulo is under risk of closure and transition to battery and diesel buses, the suburban system is likely to see an expansion and modernization process. Brazilian manufacturers Mercedes-Benz, Caio, Eletra, and WEG have built the first prototype of a 21.5 long low-floor vehicle called the e-Troll, which has a total capacity of 146 passengers. It is planned that 92 of these 4-axle articulated buses will mainly operate on the future 17.5 km BRT route between São Bernardo do Campo and Secoma. Interesting that the contact network along the line will be laid only in one direction, as the e-Troll electric buses will use high battery capacity to cover longer stretches without wires in autonomous operation. Optimistic plans call for the first part of this new corridor to open in 2025. And the next news came from Brazil, from my subscriber. The city of Salvador in the state of Bahia started the construction of LRT line. This idea emerged over 10 years ago for the 2014 World Cup, but wasn't realized and got stuck at planning. The line was planned to replace the very old suburban train line, which was built in the 19th century and used trains from around 1950s. Later, the state government signed a contract with BYD for the construction of a monorail in place of the LRT, but for some reason the government still called the project as a light rail. In 2021, the Chinese group responsible for the project wanted to update the contract from 1.5 billion reals to 5.2 billion, and also the extension of the contract time, but the government didn't agree. In August of last year, after a lot of legal stuff, the government finally cancelled the contract and then started the new project, coming back to the original light rail idea. They opened the bidding in December of 2023, and in June the governor officially started the construction. The project cost about $620 million and is divided into 3 segments. The first is scheduled to begin operations in 2026, and the whole line is planned to be completed in October 2027. The total length is 36.4 kilometers, which is longer than the old project project with 23.3 kilometers and 25 stations. Although the monorail project went further towards the city center, the LRT goes way deeper into the suburban area, crossing the entire city length, connecting with the BRT and the big new bus station Aguas Claras and the metro. And about a week ago, the government also bought 40 CAF Urbus 3 trams from the city of Cuiabá and their failed tram project to run the Salvador light rail. Currently, the trams are being transported to Sao Paulo and later will be sent to Salvador. Brazil's capital city of Sao Paulo is planning to announce a tender for the purchase of new subway trains. The winner of the €672 million tender to supply 44 new trains for the Sao Paulo metro will be announced on September 30. Half of the new fleet will operate on the Line 2 extension, which is expected to open in 2026 or 27, and the rest on Lines 1 and 3. The city of Balneario Camboriu in Brazil has approved plans to build the world's tallest residential tower, which will reach more than 500 meters in height. The Triumph Tower, led by Brazilian developer FGM Empreendimentos, will have 100 floors and reach 544 meters, which is about 72 meters higher than the current tallest residential tower in the world, the Central Park Tower in New York. The tower will be located on a 15 hectares plot in the Barra Sul district, which is a thin peninsula along the city's southern coast. This district is also home to the Yacht House Residence Club, which was completed in 2024 and is currently the third tallest skyscraper in Latin America after Torres Obispado in Mexico and Gran Torre Santiago in Chile. Metro BH Company has started construction of the second metro line in Belo Horizonte, which will be 10.5 kilometers long and include 7 stations. One of these new stations will be connected to the first metro line, which has been in operation since 1986. Currently, the first line carries about 100,000 passengers daily, which highlights its key role in the city's transportation system. The second metro line is expected to be launched by 2029, which will significantly improve the city's transportation links. It will be operated by 24 4-car trains ordered from the Chinese company CRRC. The first train is expected to arrive to Brazil in early 2026. And in addition to the new line, the outdated rolling stock on the first metro line will also be replaced, which will improve passenger comfort as the old trains are not air-conditioned. Metro BH has also signed a contract with Alstom to supply a train control system for both metro lines, which will improve the safety and efficiency of the transportation. You know, sometimes there is a news that can only be reacted to with a "what?" and the next one is exactly like this. The Brazilian city of Belem is preparing for the COP30 climate summit, and during that process is building a new 4-lane 13 kilometers long highway that runs through the protected Amazon rainforest. The highway is supposed to provide traffic to the city, which will host more than 50,000 people, including world leaders who will arrive for a conference in November. So, in other words, they are cutting up protected forests to hold a forum where they will discuss the importance of preserving the forests. Although the state government claims the highway is sustainable and will feature animal crossings, bike paths, and solar lighting, well, that changes everything, of course. Some local residents and environmentalists are still outraged by its environmental impact. Locals now afraid that the road construction will lead to even more deforestation in the future, as the area will become more accessible to businesses. The road also leaves two sections of the protected forest disconnected, so local scientists are concerned that this will lead to ecosystem fragmentation and disrupt wildlife movement. After the highway is completed, land animals will no longer be able to freely cross to the other side, which will reduce the area where they can live and breed. Meanwhile, the president of Brazil says that the summit will provide an opportunity to focus on the needs of the Amazon, show the forest to the world, and talk about what the federal government has done to protect it. So that's the story. Maybe I'm missing something, but perhaps they should have found another place to hold the climate forum that didn't require building a highway through the jungle. The World Bank approved a $250 million loan for the Sao Paulo Metro Line 2 extension project. So Line 2, also known as a Green Line, will be extended by 8 kilometers and 8 stations from Vila Prudente station to the Penha neighborhood, located northeast of the city center, and will include the construction of a maintenance depot. This extension will make Line 2 the longest in the network, with a total length of 23 kilometers. It will also reduce travel time for residents of the eastern zone and help redistribute passenger traffic across the network. Once completed, the Green Line will be able to carry about 1.2 million passengers daily, significantly improving mobility in the eastern zone of Sao Paulo. In general, Sao Paulo Metro network has been operating since 1974 and now consists of 6 lines with a total length of 104 kilometers. Chinese company CRRC has unveiled the first of 24 4-car trains for the Belo Horizonte metro. They are equipped with automatic train control systems, passenger information screens, and large windows. But actually, windows look quite ordinary, I would say. The first train is expected to be sent to Brazil for testing in September, ahead of the initial schedule planned for 2026. The new vehicles will replace some of the 900 series trains on Line 1, which were manufactured in the 1980s and don't have air conditioning. Incidentally, in October 2023, Metro BH signed a contract with Alstom to automate the existing Line 1 and the future Line 2. It will supply new signaling to support the system, as well as onboard equipment for the existing fleet and 24 new trains. Alstom has also delivered the first train for the Orange Line in Sao Paulo as part of a contract for 22 6-car metro trains. Each train will be able to carry up to 2,044 passengers and reach speeds of up to 90 km per hour. They are made of stainless steel and painted orange to emphasize the name and identity of the line. The 15 km long Orange Line with 5 stations is currently under construction and will connect the Brasilândia district in the north zone with the São Joaquim station in the city center, reducing travel time to just 23 minutes, while the bus ride currently takes about 1.5 hours. The new line has already been nicknamed the University Line because it will connect at least 7 higher education institutions. It is expected to carry around 633,000 passengers per day. And finally, Brazilian rolling stock manufacturer Marco Polo Rail has announced the signing of a contract to supply 3 Prosper City diesel trains to CFLP, which is the operator of a commuter line serving the city of Teresina. Marco Polo will supply 2 2-car trains and 1 3-car unit, which will be able to carry up to 560 passengers. The company is better known as a manufacturer of buses, which are very popular in Latin America and only now is beginning to enter the railway market. Just recently, they completed their first railway contract, supplying 3 diesel trains of the same type to the Chilean railway. As for the railway in Teresina itself, it is a 16-kilometer single-track line with a narrow meter gauge, which has been operating since 1991. Notably, at the very beginning, it operated trains built in Hungary, and currently it operates trains from another Brazilian manufacturer built in 2017. And finally, news from Brazil. In the Curitiba metro area, they launched a new test route based on the Chinese technology of the so-called trackless tram. Of course, in fact, this is not a tram at all, but a multi-section bus that uses electronics for navigation and following markings. But recently, news about the introduction of such a system comes regularly from different countries. I have already mentioned such buses in Mexico and Pakistan, and now Brazil. Here they plan to use them on a 10-kilometer line between Piraquara and Pinhais. The buses built by CRRC are about 30 meters long, can carry up to 280 passengers and are fully electric. And they also have two cabs, which means they can travel in both directions. Of course, local officials say that it is a new, ultra-modern, innovative, revolutionary mode of transport that improves urban mobility without investing in lane tracks, as the buses follow their route thanks to magnetic markers in the road. However, autonomous driving isn't yet regulated by law in Brazil, so there is still a driver in the cab who operates the bus anywhere except the special experimental sections. In general, this is the first use of this system in South America, so we'll see what happens next. By the way, Curitiba is known for being the first city to introduce a bus rapid transit system back in 1974, which became an inspiration for many cities such as Bogota, Lima, Jakarta, and others. And in the Brazilian city of Fortaleza, they launched a rail link to the city's airport. The new line has two stations and stretches 2.4 kilometers, linking the airport terminal with the Metro 4 Northeast line. This integration allows passengers to reach the coast at the Mucuripe and Iachi station or to Parangaba, where they can transfer to the South line, which serves Fortaleza and part of the metropolitan area. With the launch of this line, Fortaleza secures its status as one of the few Brazilian state capitals with a rail connection to the airport, because only 3 cities in the country have such infrastructure. In Sao Paulo, a new 7.2-kilometer monorail line number 17 has been opened, connecting Morumbi to Congonhas Airport in just 20 minutes. Construction began in 2012 and it was originally planned to launch before the 2014 Football World Cup, but due to construction delays it happened only now. The total cost of construction is estimated at around $1.14 billion. The line is served by 5 car trains, which are 61 meters long and can carry up to 616 passengers. Initially, the service will run Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., while operational testing will continue on weekends, and the government expects the line to be fully operational within 90 days. And in Brazil, the Sao Paulo state government is investing $620 million in the purchase of 44 new metro trains, which are intended to modernize and expand the capital's fleet. They will be used mainly to expand Line 2 as well as to reinforce Lines 1 and 3. The new trains, built by CRRC, will be equipped with an air conditioning system as well as USB ports for charging mobile phones and other gadgets as well, I guess. They'll have a maximum capacity of 1,800 passengers and wider doors to ensure faster boarding. Meanwhile, the Sao Paulo City Council has abandoned plans to build a tram line in the city center and instead wants to use this.
Oh boy, here we go.
Meaning those Chinese buses that pretend to be trams. According to the mayor, this change will save almost half of the investment originally required for 2 tram lines. The project cost has been revised from about $800 million to $420 million. These buses are currently being tested in Curitiba, and maybe the mayor of Sao Paulo himself got the idea from there. And the mayor also noted that one of the reasons for refusing the tram was the too steep inclines on some streets. However, the mayor also reportedly said that while studying this experience, city officials visited China and Japan, where such systems are already in operation, which sounds quite strange because, as far as I know, there are no such systems in Japan. In total, there are plans to build 2 such lines, which are expected to carry up to 130,000 passengers per day. By the way, I am planning to make a separate video about this kind of systems, and this script is already done, so I hope I will manage to make it sooner.